Hello, lovies. Welcome back to the Be Yourself Unapologetically podcast. I'm your host, Becca, and tonight we're going to be talking about menopause. Now, I'm only 48, but I've already come through it. I started my periods quite young and suffered with them quite heavily from a very young age. At one point in my 20s, I suffered really badly with endometriosis, and I was put on the waiting list for basically having a hysterectomy. But my mental health wasn't the best, and the hospital basically said that if I had a hysterectomy, it would affect my hormones and probably make my mental health worse. And I'm so glad that my doctor did that for me, because I was told I'd never have children at 17, and luckily that changed when I was 32, and I finally got pregnant with my daughter, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, becoming a mum. So I want to talk to you about it, because a lot of people don't talk about the menopause. It's still one of them subjects that people seem to kind of skirt past. Nobody tells you how it's going to be. So let's get the kettle on, bras off, thermostat down. Today we're diving into the menopause, the science, the silliness, and the stuff nobody warned you about. So we're going to bust some myths, share some practical hacks, and keep it real, all in plain UK English, with a good laugh along the way, hopefully. Quick note, this show is information, not medical advice. Always chat to your GP about your own situation. So, right, let's crack on. So, is it me or is it boiling in here? Ever walked into a room and thought, who turned up the central heating up to volcano? That, my friends, is a hot flush, your internal radiator on surprise mode. Menopause is normal, but the way it shows up can be dramatic. Today, what's happening in your body, which options actually help, what to ask your GP, and the tiny tweaks that make a big difference, including one genuinely life-changing tip about your duvet. So, menopause 101, without the jargon. Let's start with the basics. Menopause is when you haven't had a period for 12 months because estrogen levels have fallen. The average age in the UK is about 51, though it can happen earlier or later. The lead up is perimenopause, where symptoms begin while periods can still be present, just to keep things spicy. Menopause can also happen suddenly after surgery, ovaries removed, or certain treatments. It affects anyone who's had periods, including some trans men and non-binary people. And no, you don't usually need fancy blood tests over 45. Diagnosis is based on symptoms, hormones, bounce around like toddlers on Haribo, so one blood test often tells you very little. So your body's thermostat, why the hot flushes happen. Here's the science bit, friendly, I promise. As estrogen dips during peri and postmenopause, the brain's thermostat, the hypothalamus, becomes jumpy. It thinks a tiny rise in temperature is an emergency and triggers a full body cool down. Dilated blood vessels, sweat, heart flutter, hello flush and night sweats. That's why stress, caffeine, wine and warm rooms can spark a mini bonfire. Breathe in slowly, in for 4, out for 6 to 8. Helps nudge the nervous system back into calm mode. So let's do a mini exercise. Inhale through the nose for 4. Hold 1. Out through the mouth for 6. Drop your shoulders again. 1 more. If you're mid-flush, point a fan at your face and wrists, which give rapid relief. Symptoms nobody warned you about and what actually helps. Yes, hot flushes and brain fog are famous, but let's talk about the less glam bits people whisper about. Sleep disturbances. Drifting off is easy, staying asleep is a different story. Mood and anxiety shifts. You're not losing it, but your hormones are. Joint aches. Estrogen affects connective tissue. Skin and hair changes. Dryness, itching and shedding. So bladder and vaginal changes, the genitourinary syndrome of menopause, GSM, dryness, soreness, UTIs, I need the loo now, local vaginal estrogen, tiny doses applied where needed, is highly effective, can be used long term and is safe alongside HRT. Symptoms often return if you stop, so think of it like moisturiser for the pelvic floor. If nobody told you, sex can become uncomfortable because tissues get thinner. You're not alone. Moisturisers regularly and lubricants for intimacy help. Local estrogen often transforms things. If you're prone to recurrent UTIs post-menopause, this is a key fix to discuss with your GP. So HRT, demystified, patches, gels, tablets and coils. Hormone replacement therapy, HRT, tops up falling estrogen and a progesterone if you have a womb. It's the most effective treatment for hot flushes and night sweats, and it helps protect bones. Transdermal osteoradio, patch, gel or spray, gives steadier levels and doesn't raise clot risk like oral tablets can. If you still have a womb, you need endometrial protection. Options include micronized progesterone or a levonorgestrel IUS, which is like the Mirena. Your clinician will tailor type and dose to you. So, calm clarity. So, breast cancer risk with combined HRT is small and depends on type, dose and duration. Estrogen only has much lower associated risk. Decisions are individual. Weigh your symptom burden, risk factors and goals with your GP. Migraine note. Got migraine? Migraine with aura isn't an HRT contradiction. Many specialists prefer transdermal estrogen plus continuous progesterone to keep the hormones steady. There is non-hormonal options, including the new kid on the block. Can't or don't want HRT? There's still options. CBT, tailored to vasomotor symptoms, improves flush, bother, sleep, and coping skills. Proper evidence behind that. Medicines. Some GPs use gabapentin or clonidine. SSRIs, SNRIs may help, especially where HRT isn't suitable, e.g. some breast cancer contexts. They're not first in line for flushes in otherwise eligible people. So, fezolinetant, Veoza, a non-hormonal NK3R blocker for moderate severe flushes. It's MHRA approved in Great Britain, but the NICE's draft did not require NHS funding. Also note liver monitoring recommendations if considering private prescriptions. Discuss pros, cons, and liver checks. Libido corner. Testosterone can be considered only for low sexual desire when HRT alone isn't enough. After other causes are addressed, it's off-label and needs monitoring. So, bones, joints, and the creak factor. Estrogen helps keep bones strong around the menopause. Bone loss speeds up, hence the achy joints and increased fracture risk later on. HRT helps protect bone, but everyone benefits from resistance training, impact as tolerated, adequate calcium and food sources, and vitamin D if needed. So picture this. Imagine your skeleton as a savings account. In your 20s and 30s, you pay in. In midlife, the withdrawals accelerate unless you set up a standing order called lift something 2 to 3 times a week. Even body weight moves, squats to a chair, wall press ups, loaded carries with shopping, they all count. So work rights and small adjustments that change your day. If symptoms affect you at work, you're not being dramatic. The ACAS guidance says employers should support staff. Think temperature control, a desk fan, easy loo access, uniform tweaks, flexible breaks, and recording menopause-related absence separately. In some cases, if symptoms have a substantial long-term impact, they may be treated like a disability under the Equality Act, which means reasonable adjustments are required. Just start the conversations early. So, tiny unglamorous tips nobody tells us, but your love. Right, so the secret sauce. The Scandinavian duvet divorce. 2 single duvets on a double bed. You run cool, partner runs toasty, peace reigns. Chill hack. Keep a cooling gel pillow or silk bamboo pillowcase. Flip it at 3 a.m. and go back to sleep like a lizard on a cool rock. Period roulette kit. Pack period pants or a spare pair of leggings in your bag car. Saves many a nope moment. Flush toolkit. Mini hand fan. Mist spray. Face cloth in a zip pouch. Keep one at work, one by the bed and one in the car. Car climate trick. Driver side temperature down. Passenger side up. A classy way to avoid arguments. Brain frog lifelines. Stick a post-it on the front door that says phone, keys, glasses, smile. Also calendars reminders for everything. Pelvic floor and GSM. A pelvic health physio can help with urgency leaks combined with regular vaginal moisturizer and, if appropriate, local estrogen. which are game changers. The weight creep reality. Strength training beats endless cardio for midlife body changes and mood. Think strong, not small. Tea before talk. When emotions spike, make a cuppa, breathe, then reply. It's British CBT. Work notes. Ask for a quiet, cool space for 5 minutes if a flush hits during a meeting. Totally reasonable under the ACAS guidance. Red flags. Do not ignore these. Any vaginal bleeding after 12 months without periods, see your GP. It's often not serious but should be checked promptly and may trigger an urgent referral to rule out problems. Heavy, persistent or unusual bleeding during perimenopause, also worth a proper check. New chest pain, severe depression or concerning symptoms, don't wait. Menopause isn't you fading, it's your settings updating. You're allowed to ask for help, to change your mind, and to wear a vest in July with absolutely no apology. Let's end with 1 minute of calm. Sit comfortably. Unclench your jaw. Inhale for 4. Hold 1. Exhale for 6. Imagine your out-breathe turning down a dimmer switch inside your chest. Shoulders soften, forehead smooth. One more slow breath. Nicely done. If today helped, share it with someone who needs a chuckle and a plan. Show notes, reputable sources, and a simple checklist to take to your GP. I'm proud of you. Kettle's on me next time. So this is a handy GP work checklist that you can put in your phone. The top 3 symptoms, plus how often and the worst time of day. What have you tried and what helped? So mood, sleep, bone health or family history that you want noted. Contraception needs. HRT is not contraception. Questions. HRT options. Transdermal vs oral. Local estrogen for GSM. Pelvic health physio referral. Non-hormonal alternatives and a workplace adjustments letter. So some sources for you that are trustworthy and UK focused. So NHS overview and treatment pages for menopause and GSM include local estrogen safety and long-term use. So the NICE guidelines, NG23, diagnosis without routine hormone tests. Look for the British Menopause Society. They have tools to help with HRT, migraine, and testosterone. Bone health. Royal Osteoporosis Society. NHS bone loss accelerates around menopause. Exercise and HRT help protect bone. Non-hormone treatments and fezolinetant licensing liver monitoring, NHS funding. Workplace rights and adjustments, look under the ACAS and the EHRC guidance. So that's bye from me. Keep being yourself unapologetically, and I will see you next time.